Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Baking with Brando. So it's December, and that means I should probably be working on some sort of Christmas-related desserts, but I'm not in the mood, honestly, so I'm gonna do a tiramisu tart instead. And it starts with a Sablee crust, so let's get to it. A Sablee is pretty similar to a cookie, so it starts with some butter and some sugar. I got a little lemon zest, and we're just gonna cream it for a bit until it gets a little light and fluffy. Not too light though, you don't want it to get too aerated. Then we got an egg going in here. This is gonna be our structure. We got some flour. I got 10% of my flour weight. I just subbed for cocoa powder because I want to do a chocolate base here, and that's kind of like the base that I do for most chocolate things. So we'll smack this on the counter for no reason at all, and we're just gonna flour it, and then we'll properly wrap it, which we should have just done in the first place. I don't know why I would bother with the counter shit. But anyways, we'll pop it in the fridge for at least 2 hours or overnight, just long enough for it to firm up so it's easier for us to work with when we start chopping. So we're just chopping this into cubes. It's gonna make it a little bit easier to hand knead it. It's gonna do little bits of this dough at a time because we don't want to overwork our entire batch. So here I'm just kind of rolling out enough for one. I think I'm gonna do the circle for visual effect. That's the most classic shape that people see when they see a tart, but I don't think I actually use that shape when we get to the plating later. So I've got them trimmed up now. We're gonna pop them in the oven at 325 for about 12 to 15 minutes. Did put a note on the screen there, that's good to see. So here we are, we've got that first thing done. We'll cross it off, and we're gonna move on to our Ladyfinger sponge. Every video online that I saw, people are using pre-made Ladyfingers, and that's kind of bogus. So here I am. I'm gonna make it for you and show you how it's done. It's pretty simple. It's just a separated sponge method. I've whipped up my yolks and sugar. Now we're gonna whip up some egg whites and sugar. Once we get that to a nice enough peak, we're gonna fold those two together. I think the book actually said to whip it to a moist peak, and I don't know what the hell that means when it comes to baking. So I just whipped it so it wasn't fully stiff. I figured that's probably what they meant. They wanted these yolks to be at a ribbon stage, and I was pretty close there. I don't probably think I was all the way, but here we are. It is what it is. I'm gonna get what I need out of this. So we're just folding in our flour here. You wanna do that in like a few parts. If you dump it all in at once, it's just gonna clump up and be a headache, and you're gonna have not a cake, you're gonna have a clump, and that's bad. So I'm just gonna put this in the pan now, spread it out with a little offset spatula. I had chefs tell me I was never gonna make it with that teeny tiny spatula, but look at me now, boss. I've got it all figured out. So we'll pop this in the oven at about 325 for 10 to 15 minutes, just till it's done, really. I checked it once or twice. We're gonna do a quick little tap test in a second here, and that's how you'll know for real. Once it springs back, you're pretty much good to go. Let's say a quick hello to Opal, and then we're gonna jump into our coffee gelato. So it's just gonna be some heavy cream. I got some coffee, and I'm just gonna steep this a little bit to try and infuse that flavor. A pinch of salt doesn't hurt anyone here. I'm gonna put some egg yolks in a bowl, and I know those egg yolks look whack, and that's because I had them previously frozen, but they still have the magical egg yolk cooking abilities, so we're gonna push this out. So we'll pour that through a cheesecloth and a fine mesh strainer and get it back in the pot, because we're gonna add some 10% cream and about 120 grams of sugar. Bring that to a simmer, and then we'll get ready to temper it into our egg yolks. It's the same technique as normal. You just pour it slowly and stir, stir, stir as you go. We'll get that back on the heat, and we gotta cook that to at least 70 degrees Celsius. You can cook it closer to 82, but I think egg yolks are cooked around 64, so if I hit 70, I think I'm good to go there. So we've rested this base in the fridge for about 24 hours, and it's got a pretty decent consistency, so I think it'll give us a nice scoop coming up here. Just gonna pop it in the Ice Blaster 5000 and get ready to spin this up. This took about 20 minutes to process, which isn't too bad, actually. It's nice that we can keep this in the freezer while it spins, because otherwise it would probably be a way worse process.
Water?
So I'm making an Amaretto coffee syrup here, and that's pretty self-explanatory. You're just gonna watch me boil water here, which is, I suppose, kind of lame, but I thought it was cool at the time, and it is part of the process, so, I'm filming the whole thing, and I want to share it all with you. And we're just gonna drink a little bit of this coffee while oh shit, what? Got him. No worries. Don't worry, everyone. We got him. Gonna pour some of that freshly hunted Amaretto in there, and some sugar, and we're just gonna boil that down for a bit until it gets to a little bit of a syrup-like consistency. And now here I am, we're just building the tarts. I think we're almost at that stage, so I'm cutting out some shapes. We got one more thing we gotta do, and we're gonna make a white chocolate ganache afterwards, so we're gonna pour on top. So we're just kind of like prepping ourselves for the next steps right now. Let's cut these cakes in half. They were a little thick, and we want to have a few textural layers to this tart, so if we half it, then we get more space for other delicious things. So there's the white chocolate ganache recipe. It's pretty simple. It's almost equal parts chocolate to cream, and then we got a little bit of liquid glucose because that helps keep things kind of soft, I find, especially when it comes to chocolate. So So I popped this in a blender, and if you were gonna blend it, I recommend using an immersion blender, because this one just got a bunch of air bubbles in it, and I knew it would, but I didn't have enough product to use an immersion blender. Like, it would have just kind of tapped the blades. So here we are, it is what it is. We're just gonna make a quick chocolate garnish. This is really simple. I'm not showing the whole tempering process this time, because like I'd show it in most videos, and I feel like y'all get the picture at this point. If we want to do a chocolate video, we'll just do one and blatantly be chocolate. So it's not fully shown this time, but I did temper both these chocolates, and I tried to do like a layered textural thing going on. Then I waited for it to set a bit. We're just gonna spin it into like a circular shape, and that's what I'm gonna put around the tart. So easy enough, we're done and on to the next step, and that's to make the mascarpone mousse, which is easy peasy. We got a pretty basic recipe, and it starts with a couple eggs. We're gonna crack those right into the mixing bowl, because I don't really want to bother with the extra dishes. We're gonna pull those egg yolks out and chuck them in another bowl here. Those are the ones we're gonna make a sabaglione with, so we gotta cook those over a water bath. I think the Italians like to call it a sabaglione, because they're a little bit different, but that's okay, no worries. I'm still gonna do it. It's pretty much just custard flavored. It's flavored custard, guys. It's not that hard. We should call it flavored custard. I'm gonna flavor it with some amaretto, because that's delicious and great with tiramisu, I find. And once again, with egg yolks, we gotta cook this to at least 70. I think I went 75. I just kind of cook it till it starts to thicken. That's pretty much a good sign that you're on the right track. We're gonna put this mascarpone in a bowl, and I'm just gonna mash it up a bit, because I want it to be a little more, like, I don't want lumps. So if it's nice and soft and mushed around, it's gonna mix easily with this custard base. Our mascarpone and custard are fully combined, which means we can start folding in our egg whites. This is gonna help with getting it nice and fluffy and mousse-like. I'm just gonna do that in 2 or 3 parts. And then I've also got some whipped cream whipping in the background, and we're gonna do the same thing. Just fold that in 2 or 3 parts. Again, it just brings that nice fluffiness and richness to the dessert that everybody who enjoys a tiramisu at least knows and loves. So we're getting into the back end of this video now, and that's just the finishing touches on our tart. We're just gonna pipe a little bit of this mascarpone mousse on top, and we're gonna dust with some cocoa, because that's classic for a tiramisu, right? And there it is. We'll get ready to plate. So I've got a raspberry coulis that I made a little while back. I just had it sitting around in my freezer. I figured this is a great time to use it. We'll pop our chocolate and our tart and get some mint on that plate. Get a few dots. I don't know what it is, man. I can't help but put dots on the plate. There's some graham cracker crumbs. If you were following at all, you would know that from the key lime video we did a little while back. And get some raspberries, another little sprig of mint, and there it is. That's the tartamisu. If I have any other names, if you've got any other names, please let me know. I got the Tiramisu Tart, maybe, I suppose. But anyways, if you're still watching, I really appreciate your time. This has been a fun one to push out. It took me a little longer than I was hoping, but sometimes life be like that. Thanks for watching. I hope to catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.